Lori Valo, a cult leader, displayed disturbing conduct, convinced of her status as a resurrected deity. Her belief in being a divine entity contributed to her erratic behavior, ultimately leading to a series of tragic events and legal consequences. What all happened? Let's dig into the case. Lori Valo's fourth husband, Charles, experienced a devastating turn of events upon his return from a trip. To his shock, he discovered a complete upheaval in his life. His truck was missing, his bank accounts had been drained, and most distressingly, his children were nowhere to be found. Lori Valo's brother, Alex, was involved in a pivotal moment when he shot her fourth husband, Charles. However, his claim of acting in self-defense was met with skepticism. The credibility of Alex's account was undermined by inconsistencies within his story and the absence of any injuries to support his claims. Detectives discovered gaps and contradictions that raised doubts about the veracity of his self-defense. These inconsistencies, coupled with the lack of physical evidence indicating an imminent threat, cast doubt on Alex's justification for resorting to violence. Moreover, the detectives failed to notice that Alex had no visible injuries despite claiming self-defense. Alex was brought in for a second round of interrogation to shed more light on the events surrounding Charles' death. However, his narrative took another drastic turn, presenting a second entirely contradictory story. Something important happened after Charles' death and the uncertain information given by Alex. Alex's former wife contacted the police department and shared more information about the Valo family's relationships. She shared troubling details about inappropriate behavior and interactions within the family, specifically between Alex and his sister Lori. Alex's ex-wife said that Alex and Lori did things that were not appropriate, like touching, moaning, and pretending to have sex. Lori Valo became more committed to her spiritual beliefs and adopted a more extreme perspective. She liked apocalyptic ideas and said she felt very connected to God. Lori went on a spiritual journey and started to think she was a resurrected being and a god. She said that she got messages and advice from spiritual people like Moroni and James Christ. She believed that they talked to her when she went to the temple. She started to believe in a cult-like way. She thought that people who were connected to darkness or Satan were dangerous and needed to be eliminated. She had a wrong idea that death could free people from dark forces' control. The last known sightings of Lori Valo's children, JJ and Tylee, occurred in September 2019. JJ, who has autism, was last seen on September 23rd in Yellowstone National Park, where he visited with Lori, Alex, and Tylee. Surveillance footage from the same day captured Tylee alive at Lori's residence in Rexburg, Idaho. As Lori married Chad, for some time the news surfaced of Chad's ex-wife's death. Tammy's sudden death in October 2019 initially raised suspicions, particularly given the circumstances surrounding her passing. At the time, her death was reported as natural, and no autopsy was performed. They didn't feel like answering to anyone. 2 weeks later, all the news circulating of missing children and the death of ex-partners, Chad and Lori flew away somewhere. JJ's parents officially filed a complaint about the missing person after some time, and the case was opened when the police found out autopsies revealed startling findings. Tammy's death was determined to be the result of suffocation caused by a second party, suggesting foul play. Lori was asked to get her children to the court, but she failed to do so. Chad's property was then searched. Their beliefs took a grim turn when the remains of Lori's children, JJ and Tylee, were discovered on Chad's property. She is currently facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and insurance fraud. These charges are about the deaths of her children, JJ and Tylee. Additionally, she is also facing charges of child abandonment. The severity of these charges reflects the gravity of the crimes alleged against her.